Hey kindergarten, it's time for more Learning with Little Tweet and Mrs. Hill. So it's time for math. It's Thursday, May 14th. We're working on day 32 lessons and we're continuing to explore 3D shapes or solid shapes. Here is what you need. You need this paper right here. It says day 32 at the top. We're going to be working on this side. And then there's this little exit ticket right here as well that says day 32. That's all you need. Go ahead. Oh, pencil. Of course you need a pencil. Go ahead and pause the video and get your materials. All right, we're going to go ahead and start with a little video that reviews the solid shapes that we've been learning about.
Let's sing about two-dimensional shapes. No two look the same. We see these six shapes everywhere. Let's learn them all by name.
So this actually includes pyramid and rectangular prism too. That's pretty cool.
Let's start with spheres like the Earth and the Moon and the Sun in our sky of blue. Balls are spheres that are lots of fun. Oranges and marbles are too. There are six sides on each cube you find, and each side is a square. Sugar and blocks can shape like cubes, like the ice cubes in your glass there. Let's sing about three-dimensional shapes. No two look the same. We see these six shapes everywhere. Let's learn them all by name. Rectangular prisms have six sides. I can think of quite a few. Like a shoebox, a train car, a long stick of butter, a brick and a suitcase too. With a circle on the bottom and a point at the top. A cone is a shape you'll see. Party hats and teepees are shaped like cones, and so is a green pine tree. Let's sing about three-dimensional shapes. No two look the same. We see these six shapes everywhere. Let's learn them all by name. Cylinders of circles at each end, like a soup can or paper towel roll. Drinking straws and glasses have cylinder shapes, and so does our school flagpole. But the shape has three or more triangular sides and a point at the top. Can you guess? A base can be a square or a different shape. Say a pyramid and I'll say yes. Let's sing about three-dimensional shapes. No two look the same. We see these six shapes everywhere. Now you know them all by name.
All right, let's take a look at our lesson. So it says, gather an example of a cone, cylinder, cube, and sphere in your home. So it says to find a cone, cylinder, cube, and sphere. My sphere is going to try to roll away. Oh, there it goes. I can't make it stay put. Oh, little tweet, will you help me out? Nope. There we go. Okay. Now, if you are having a hard time finding things that are these shapes, that's okay. You can just kind of remember what we've talked about together, and I'll do some examples for you too. But remember, there are a lot of things that have those shapes in your house. Like this is a cylinder, for example. So if you can find those shapes, that's great. If not, that is okay too. I'm going to go ahead and have you pause the video in case you'd like to go find things in your house that are the same as these shapes. All right, guys, so look what I ended up doing. I decided I needed to put a little hairband there to make the sphere stay put. That rascally sphere trying to escape all the time. Okay, we're going to work on this paper now. And the first thing we're actually going to do is just quickly review the names of all these shapes up here. Now, they are 3D or solid shapes, but they had to draw them on the paper, so they are actually like flat, but their pictures are supposed to represent the different 3D shapes. So I'm going to point to each one, and I want you guys to go ahead and tell me what shape it is. Ready? Cylinder. Good. Cube. Now, some of you might have said circle, but remember, it's supposed to look like it's not flat. That's why they have some of it shaded and some of it light. This is supposed to be a sphere. That's just the only way you can draw it. What about this one? Cone. This one? Cylinder. Sphere. Cone. Cylinder. Cube. Sphere. All right. Now what we're going to do is it says experiment with your shapes to see which ones can roll, stack, and slide. So we've actually talked about that already in our videos, but now you guys get to kind of play with your shapes and experiment to see which ones roll, stack, and slide. And you're going to fill out this chart. So this says, does it stack? And each shape has a smiley face or a frown. So let's just look at the does it stack pile. Now you might have shapes to kind of try this out, but if you don't, you can just think about what we've learned together already, and I also will do a couple examples, okay? All right, so does it stack? So first is a sphere. Does a sphere stack, guys? Well, that time it did. Usually it just rolls right off, but let's try to put something on top of it. Nope, a sphere does not stack. Look, I gotta put it back in its little cage. So I'm going to color the frown. A sphere does not stack. What about, that's supposed to be a cylinder. What about a cylinder? Does a cylinder stack? Yes, it does. Oh, does a cube stack? We just stacked a cube, right? What about a cone? Do you think a cone stacks? I'm not going to fill all these in. I want you guys to do your own thinking too. Now this column says, does it roll? So you're going to think about, does a sphere roll? Does a cylinder roll? Does a cube roll? Does a cone roll? Okay, so you'll color in the smiley face or frowny face for each of those. So here, the picture up here, you can see the stacking, and here you can see the roll of toilet paper. That's supposed to remind you that this says, does it roll? I love that they put pictures here to help us. Now this one, this column says, does it slide? So you're going to decide, does the sphere slide? Yes or no? Does the cylinder slide? Does the cube slide? Does the cone slide? Okay, friends, you can use your shapes if you have them, or just use what you already know about these shapes to complete that chart. So go ahead and pause the video and work on your chart. All right, friends, so I'm actually not going to fill in the answers and show them to you because I really would like for you to think about each of these shapes and explore each of these shapes and see if you can figure them out on your own, okay? We're going to move on to our exit ticket. So get out the paper that says day 32, and we're just going to do this together, and you don't even need to write anything. We're just going to think and talk about it together. So it says, what is the same about these shapes? We have a cylinder and a cone. What is the same about these shapes? And then we're also going to answer the question, what is different between these shapes? Let's take a look at them, and I want you to think, what is the same between these shapes and what is different? Go ahead and whisper a little tweet about what is the same. Oh yes, good thinking. Now, whispered a little tweet about what is different. Good thinking, guys. So there isn't, only one right answer. There's multiple right answers here. But when I think about what's the same between a cylinder and a cone, the most obvious thing to me is that both of them have a circle on the bottom, a flat face circle on the bottom. And another thing is they both do roll, right? So that's another thing. They have round sides and they roll. And when I think about what's different between these two shapes, I can think about a couple differences, but the main one that I notice is there's a circle at the top of the cylinder and then a point at the top of the cone. So they're different at the top. To me, that's the most obvious difference. Did some of you think of those ideas? Now, if you thought of other ideas that make sense, that's okay too. Okay, guys, I think we're done with math. So why don't you go ahead and put your papers aside. We don't need to do anything with this one, but put this paper aside in case your teachers need you to take a picture and turn it in. Good work today, everybody. Awesome job.